This is the Lowellian. I am Lauren Yee, and this is House Representative Vanna Howard.
Hi,
Welcome.
Lauren. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming.
I'm so
We're so
excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So what is the job of a House Representative?
Thank you. That's a great question. A state representative, and that's my role right now. I'm a state representative. I represent the 17 Middlesex District. It's a 2-year term. I represent Lowell and 1 precinct in Tewksbury. A role of a state representative is really to be there, to be available, to be responsive to constituents, and responsive to it could be anything related to unemployment. If they need help with unemployment because their benefits have been delayed, right? So they would reach out to me, and then I would try to get the answer or get the case resolved for them. So unemployment, or it can be if you need your driver's license renewed and it's not coming in the mail. It's delayed again because you need your driver's license to drive. Or it could be an ID with the registry of motor vehicles. Those are some of the things that my job. But I also, as a state rep, I also propose bills. I vote on bills, and I do I testify on bills as well in support of not just my bills but my colleagues' bills that I find very important, for my constituents and for constituents across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So testify on bills, propose bills, vote on bills to become laws, and attend events, attend ribbon cuttings, meetings, take calls from constituents, and it's really it's just a state representative, being an elected official, being a public person, is to really be there for whatever the need might be. It's to be available, be responsive, be accessible.
You're like a support system, it sounds
We are. Yes.
How do you figure out which bills to propose? Do you find them? Do they find you? Like, do you hear a need?
So constituents will reach out. So constituents reach out. Even students. Students will write a bill. I have one bill that was written by students, high school students, Arlington high school students wrote a bill. I didn't have to do a thing. And they approached me and a colleague of mine to propose the bill, to file the bill in this session last year. And it was a bill about making sure that that our school, all our schools in Massachusetts, taught history about Asian American Pacific Islander history, about our history. They wrote a bill and they approached me and my colleague to file it.
Oh my God.
So it's about educating our students about the history of Asian American Pacific Desi Islander in the United States, and the history of it. And my other bill is about that I filed was about the city of Lowell. I wrote that bill myself because I was in the city of Lowell. A lot of folks didn't realize that. But there's a history about part of the Underground Railroad.
Oh, really?
Yes, St. Anne's. St. Anne's was a stop of, when slaves were fleeing. They made a stop here in the city of Lowell before they head to Canada. So St. Anne's was their stop. So you have a chance, if you get a chance, go to St. Anne's Church right here on Merrimack Street, and they preserve it, they kept it where they, the church where they kept, the slaves safe there. So,
I would have never known that.
So that's another bill that I proposed this session as well. So I filed a total of 24 bills, various about pre-K, access to full-day pre-K kindergarten, about cancer screenings, and early on to make sure that, really to make sure because, now for your annual mammogram screenings, it used to be, I think, the age of 35. However, if you, have in your family, a family member have higher risk of breast cancers, you may want to start a little earlier. So those are some of the bills that I propose. That's really a lot of times it's coming from constituents, from folks that really care about, a certain issue, certain topic. So they approach me. It's like, Rob, can you please file this bill and this bill, this bill? So this session alone, overall, out of 200 of us, 160 in the House, state representatives in the House chamber and the Senate, 40 in the Senate. There's 200 of us senators. We filed 7,000 plus this session. So my 24 bill is trying to shepherd my bills, through the system, through the process. It takes quite a bit of work to get even one bill passed. So you need to get all the necessary support to get your bills passed, all your bills, but 24 bills among the 7,000 plus. So you got a lot of work. You have to do, you have to testify, you get the support, you do a rally, many rallies, you do briefings, just to get all the necessary support. It's quite a process to get, a bill through or to become law. Some bills take over 10 years just to get passed. Wow. And one of my bills, which is a Healthy Youth Act, the Healthy Youth Act, also known as the Sex Education Bill, it's 11 years old. 11 years old. So,
wow.
Yeah.
When you say support, do you mean support from the community or do you mean support like among other representatives?
Both. Both. So I need the support from my colleagues to co-sponsor the bill, but I also need the support from a coalition. There's many coalition out there. They have a coalition of folks that will, help promote your bill to get the support from the community. You yourself, if you're so passionate about a certain bill, you can reach out to my colleagues. Please, this is a bill I'm very, passionate about. Here's my story. This is why I'm passionate about this bill. Please help support. Please, will you co-sign?
Wow.
And then you reach out to a coalition to ask them to reach out to their representatives, their senators, to also co-sponsor the bill.
Is there a place that people can go to find out what bills are coming up so that they can help support them?
That's right. So there's a website, an official website for the Massachusetts legislature. There is a website that the public can go and take a look at all the bills filed this session. And then there's also bills that have been assigned to a certain committee. So for the Healthy Youth Act, that was assigned to the Joint Committee on Education because it's all about education. And my other bill about the history on, the Asian American Pacific Islander bill, that was also assigned to an education committee. So when a bill is assigned to a education committee, the co-chairs of that committee, of the education committee, will schedule a public hearing where the public can sign up to testify in support. Say if you're in support of that one bill, you sign up to testify either in person or virtually before the committee. It's a public hearing where you can go and testify in support of it.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
But it's a process. From the time it takes to file a bill, it's assigned to a committee, and then you have to get all the support, and then you have to do the hearing, get the testimony, and then, it's quite a process. It's a lot of work just on one bill.
So you have the Inclusion Asian Pacific Islander DESI American History Education bill. How does that play out after? So if you pass the bill, does that mean that what happens is now the schools are notified that they have to teach more?
Right. So DESI will be in charge of that to make sure that the, for example, Lowell public schools, right, will, this particular bill, actually, you don't have to teach it every year. It's just to make sure that you make sure that it's being taught. But you don't have to take it, the student's not required to take it every year. Right. And so DESI will make sure that, for example. So it's for middle school and high school.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and so it's really important that middle schoolers and high schoolers learn about the history of APIDA.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. I feel like that part isn't brought up. At least, like, I've found that all of the stuff that I had to learn about was, like, as an adult later on.
That's right.
You have to go find it on your own.
Exactly.
And before that, you're like, I don't know if I fit.
And precisely because this is why the Arlington High School wrote this bill, because they wanted to know about the history of the Asian American Pacific, Islanders, Desi, Islanders. And so, yes. And so it's very important to learn about really everyone's history, Yes. And our lower high school alone, we have, about 72 languages spoken there. But my son graduated from lower high, and he's Cambodian American. And he said to me, Mom, I was never taught about really anything about Asian history, especially Cambodian. We have Cambodia town here. We have the second largest Cambodian, Americans living here in Lowell, the second largest.
Wow.
But nothing is really taught, at the high school about Cambodian Americans or even about the genocide. Good thing that last session, I was the Massachusetts legislature passed a law about genocide education bill.
Oh, wow.
So that's now in law. So Massachusetts will be taught about the genocide.
That's amazing.
Yeah. The reason why the bill was very important to pass, because you don't want anything like that to be repeated.
Yes.
What happened in the Holocaust, happened in Rwanda, happened in Cambodia, the genocide there. So yeah. But the APIDA, the bill, that it's very important that students really they need to know what about the APDI history.
Can you tell us a bit about your personal journey?
Sure. Yes. So I resettled here as a refugee. I arrived here in this country with my mom and my younger brother. I was 11 years old when I arrived here, and they signed me up. The school signed me up. I entered 7th grade. But in 7th grade, where everyone was learning, 7th grade should learn, I was learning how to read and write and speak. I was learning ABCs in 7th grade. And so it was tough. It was difficult, not just the language, but also the new country, the new culture that I had to learn about this new country.
Yes.
And so it was tougher on my mom because, again, she didn't have time to go to school. She had to find a job.
Yeah.
And I went to school, but I remember my mother, not a word of English, and had to go to work and had to learn every day how to communicate with her coworkers. I'm trying to imagine my mom then, and because I had a hard time learning English as much younger than her, in 7th grade, learning ABCs, and but for her, it was really, really tough. So it took me many years really to grasp the English language, and it was tough. Throughout 7th grade, 8th grade, throughout the entire high school, 4 years in high school, I had a hard time. I mean, many of us, that arrived here as refugees, we were all, going to school together, and we were learning, teaching, each other's English during school, but also at home. We would get together and practice English. Yes,
that's really cool. How did you end up in politics?
So I moved to Lowell. After Revere, I moved here. After college, I found my first professional job at a law firm right here in downtown as a legal secretary. And so I worked there for a couple years. And then after that, I went to the district attorney's office right down the street to work for Middlesex District Attorney's Office. And after that, I went to Suffolk County District Attorney's Office in Boston. While I was in Boston, a friend of mine here in Lowell was running for school committee.
Oh, wow.
Yes, a friend of mine was running for school committee, and I remember he said, "Hey, I'm running for this. Can you please help?" And I had no idea before what was, I didn't even know anything about politics. I was not interested in politics. Even in college, there was nothing about politics or political science or anything. I was just trying to get through college,
Yes.
And but a friend decided to run for school committee, and I started just, going to his fundraiser, going to knocking on doors for him, and I was shy. I'm painfully shy. I'm very timid. Like, you want me to knock on someone's door to ask them to vote for you? That's how
it's a nightmare.
What? You want me to do what? I'm like, oh, okay. Let me give it a try. And that's when I learned. Because he had, I volunteered for his campaign and was running for school committee. That's when I really learned from going home to home, from going to neighborhood and neighborhood. That's when I learned the issues that really affecting the neighborhood,
yes.
The city of Lowell. That's really. And then from there, I volunteered more, even for my own boss, the district attorney himself, going like collecting signatures for the nomination paper. I learned how to ask people to sign the nomination paper. I'm like,
can you please guts.
Yes, like, can you please sign the nomination paper for so-and-so? And they said, oh, sure. And then the one that said yes, and then I had to deal with like, nope, we're not supporting him. We're not gonna sign for, like I had to learn that. I had to smile. Oh, thank you. And it's like, why aren't you signing? So I had to learn all that. And so yeah, I for over almost 20 years really, I just.
What made you decide that you wanted to be the person?
Oh, I never considered running for public office. Okay,
Really?
I went to work for Congresswoman who's now retired for 12 years when she was in Congress. When she was elected to Congress, I volunteered on her campaign. And then I get a call saying, she's interested in hiring you. I said, I'm not interested. I have a job over here at the Suffolk County DA's office. I have a happy job. I was happy to,
help
her campaign, but I'm not interested in working. But somehow, I think it was a friend of mine who ran for the school committee who said, no, please submit your resume. I was the one who, referred you. Can you please,
wow.
Can you please submit your resume? Can you please go in for the interview? And so I did. I go in for the interview. I met with the Congresswoman. I met with her district director. I interview, just to, because my friend asked me to,
Yeah.
And the next day I got a call and when can you start? I said, oh, okay. Can you give me 48 hours? Can I get back to you? Can I get back to you on that? So 48 hours. So I think I called everybody I knew that understood a little bit about politics. She just got elected. It's a special election. She's going to be running again for re-election in a few months. What if she didn't get re-elected? I will be out of job in a few months. What's going So that all came, to my head. And even at the DA's office, I had to say, the congresswoman would like to hire me. I got a blessing from my boss, from the district attorney himself. He said, if you don't like it, you can always come back. So I want to make sure I have a job to go to, because I really, I need to have a job. And so, but 12 years later, she got reelected. I was with her. Even so, when I was with her for her entire tenure in Congress, I had so many people they would suggest, they would push me to run for public office.
Really?
Yes. Now I'm an aide to a congresswoman, so they see me everywhere. I'm out there representing the congresswoman in the 37 towns and city. So people come to know me, to trust me, and they say, when are you going to run? When are you going to run for office? Are you running? And I'm like, what? No, not interested. They suggested, they pushed. I rejected for a decade. I rejected for over a decade.
That's a long time.
For me. Yes, for a decade. And then COVID happened, and 2020 happened, and that was it. the community reached out to me. They said, "We need you. Now is the time. Now is time. We need you. We need you. We need leadership. We need change." That was it. We need change in this district, and we need you to run for public office. When you have so many people knocking your door during lockdown, during the pandemic, with their mask on, they come to you, knock. I'm like, "Why are you here? Why are you standing outside my door? We're in a lockdown." They say, "No, we need you. We know you. We trust you, and the community needs you. The district needs you. We need change, and we need you." And so I had to sit down with my family to get their blessing, and they were already full steam ahead.
Really?
They were 110% all in, while I was maybe 25%.
Oh my God, that's magic.
Yes.
That your family was so on board.
Because it's a lot of work. It's really, running for public office, whether local, whether state, whether federal, the time away from your family, of time and the commitment to run for public office. And I wanted their blessing because having worked for Congresswomen, they were fully aware of my commitment, my hours. And so I wanted to make sure that they were all in on board, and they were.
I love that all these people could see it in you, even when you couldn't see it in yourself.
That's right.
That's for 10 years.
For 10 years.
They never gave up. That's crazy.
they never gave up. And they said we'll do anything, and they did during COVID, during lockdown.
So you served the people because they called on you. That's a good story.
But also I wanted, when my family gave me their blessing, I wanted not just to run, not just to have a title. I was fully aware because of the work it would take, basically the work it would take 24/7 really, most weeks, most days. But I wanted to run for all the right reasons. I wanted to make sure that I was running for all the right reasons, really, because I realized, okay, I need to give back now. It's time for me to give back to this community, to the city of Lowell, who has been good to my family. So I wanted to do not just for the title, because the title it's really it's the work that you really need to put in. I want to make sure that they are well represented. That they get a representative that's there for them.
What do you love about Lowell?
I love this city. This, like I mentioned earlier, this city has been good to me and my family, and it's just so many amazing people. I saw it with my own eyes before, especially during COVID, during the pandemic. I was part of a group that were delivering groceries to families that lost jobs, that family that didn't have transportation. We were in a lockdown, and so they lost jobs. They didn't have any food. So I was part of a group that delivered groceries to them. They delivered school lunches to their children, delivered masks, hand sanitizer, whatever at the time it took. So I was so glad to be part of a group. And there were so many amazing people that stepped up during that time to make sure that everyone were cared for, were whatever it, that we were there for one another during that time. It was scary, as we all know now. It was really scary. And my son was a senior at the high school, and now here he's home, learning remotely at home. So but I was so glad that I was out there, with the community, helping the community. So I watched this amazing city over and over and over stepped up for one another. I'm proud, to live here in the city of Lowell.
What advice do you have for young Lowellians who are interested in running for office one day?
When you see an issue that clearly needs to be addressed, go for it, do it. Just get involved. Volunteer, even for an hour. Volunteer at a church, at a nonprofit, or even at school. It's really that's how I started out, just volunteering, and that's how I learned about the city of Lowell. Yeah. I mean, there was just so much to learn about the history of the city of Lowell. So by just volunteering, and always, show your integrity, your compassion, in everything that you do, because your word, when you say something, you mean it, and people really trust you to follow through. When you say something, you better follow through, and really, just do it, go for it. If when you see something that you are passionate about, that you feel compassionate about, just do it.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This is Lauren Yee, and this is Vanna Howard for the Lowellian. Thank you.